All right. Little bit different timing today. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the MIdDAy Rant. Is the chat room even up? It's a weird time. Got a lot of people. I need you to post in the chat room right off the bat. One, how does it sound? Because I rushed on to get here at 1:30 today. And typically before I go on, I will do a sound check. I did not do a sound check today. This would probably be. Now, when I do a sound check every day, it's almost never anything that needs to be changed. It's always perfect. But I remember one time last week, I didn't do a sound check because I was running late, and it wasn't perfect. So let me know. It sounds great. Sports Bra, I appreciate that. Thank you, Chris. All right, appreciate it. I'm going to be on the Sports Bras. I'll tell you all about that. I don't know when you guys do it. Like, you guys got jobs? Do you do it at night? Doesn't it whenever? We'll figure it out. I get to do more sports stuff. I don't know why I've always resisted doing sports stuff. I like sports stuff. Hey, you know what else I like? And you can tell. I like America. Look at us. Born in the USA. Proud to be an American. All that stuff. I've been struggling with what I want to put on the screen behind us here for this day, this show actually that goes on every day, Monday through Friday, noonish. Today, 1:30. I'll explain in a minute. I've been struggling with finding the proper background, and I stumbled across this little gorgeous lady. Look at her, blowing in the wind. So I might just be using her. I like the way it looks. And also, here's what I like. It allows me to say absolutely any fucking thing I want, no matter how repulsive or gross or, against the whole vibe of our founding fathers. I can do all of that shit now. Why? Because I'm an American, because the flag says so. The flag says I love this country. I can say whatever I want because of the flag. Don't get me started. Let's not start out on a rant right now about how I think you people whore out the flag and you have absolutely no sentiment for the flag. It's just all about, look, it's a flag. I'm an American. Kind of like my thing about how you just hear people talking politics all of a sudden. Like, what do you mean all of a sudden you're talking politics? I've known you since you were 19. Now suddenly you're like really into politics. I'm a grown up. It's okay. All right. I've had a day, folks. So here's why. So I'm going to explain to you exactly why this show, which usually starts somewhere around noon, is starting a little bit later today. Went out to my car this morning, and it wouldn't start. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That is the worst. Although, I do have to say, and this is when your life is just like one micro tragedy, let's be honest, when your life, not a tragedy, that's terrible. When your life is just one micro inconvenience after another, waking up, it's a little skip in my step, walking to the car, gonna do a great noon rant, clicking my heels, doing all that, get in the car, shut it, and then, oh my God. Oh my God! That is not how you want to start off your morning. Heading into the studio to do some broadcasting about America. Streamcasting. We're not broadcasting. We're not sending our signals broadly out into the. We're not casting it broadly. We are actually. Doesn't matter. Car wouldn't start. Which right there. I'm a man. I'm a grown up, so I knew it was a battery issue. I knew I got a battery issue going on. So I had to call roadside assistance. There was nobody around. I'm like, oh my God, who do I know that lives like near here that can? And I don't. Here's the thing. This is why I don't have any friends, because I live in a part of town. It's beautiful, and I am blessed, and I am so happy that I've been afforded the opportunity. But it doesn't change the fact I live in a part of town where I don't have any friends. Oh, wait a second. I just realized. No, he would be at work. He would be at work. You know who lives just a couple blocks away from where I'm staying? And that's how I say it when you're a paper bag, when you're a plastic Kroger bag in the wind of a big empty Kroger parking lot, just blowing anywhere you want. You say, I'm staying. You know where I'm staying? I'm staying like 2 blocks away from Eric. Remember Eric, our old producer on the Pugs and Kelly show? I could have called him. I didn't even think about that. But he's at work. So I'm out there on this beautiful street, and I got my hood open, right? And I got the jumper cables already attached. All I needed was a jump. I got the jumper cables. They're attached. All you got to do is pull up and go, hey, what do you need? And I'd say a jump, and they'd say, let me pop my hood. And they'd pop it, and I'd put them on, and they'd be gone. Not a single person, not a neighbor. I had a dude who lived across the street from me who pulled into his driveway, got out and looked and went, and walked right back inside. More proof to my point that rich people aren't nice. Rich people are not nice. You want to know who offered to help? A landscaping guy. A landscaping guy came up. He pulls in. It's time to blow the leaves, I guess. He's out there, and he's like, hey, you need a hand? You need a jump? And I'm like, man, I would really love a jump. But by that point, I had already talked to the road assistance guy, and he was within 5 minutes. But yeah, it was a landscaping guy. He's the one who went, you need a jump. I'm like, yeah, I do, my brother. Thank you so much. What a kind gesture. Nobody else in this neighborhood has even looked out their window. Actually, that's not true. One lady was looking out her window. I'm like, hey, lady, you got a car? Maybe instead of just looking out the window. Rich people are not nice like us working class folks are. They don't understand. They don't understand the grind and how inconvenient it is to an individual to have their car not stop and yet not start. And then also, they don't realize how simple it is for them to just let me use your car to jump it. It's easy. It's not a big thing. So the roadside assistance guy finally shows up. He jumps out. He pulls out a little. This guy, I don't know where he came from. They said it was coming from like some place in Louisville. I'm in the Park Cities. Why are you sending someone from Louisville? And I said that to him. I'm like, why did you come from Louisville? He's like, no, I didn't. That's just where headquarters is. Like, oh, thank God. You don't need to be coming all the way to the Park Cities, the campus of SMU from Louisville just to jump some idiot who forgot to turn their lights off last night. And he jumped it. And we're good. It took him an hour and a half to get here. And then there was a half hour. So that explains the 1:30 start. I appreciate y'all for being here. Let's say hi to some people in the chat room. Peter says, was that water I saw I drinking? Signal is slow. The signal is slow? Whoa, we got a bad signal in here? Do we have a problem? It doesn't look like a problem on my side. See, I can always tell when we're not signaling properly because there's some drag on me. And I'm moving back and forth and it ain't dragging. Oh, man. That's all we need. Signal is slow. April says, let's see here. It was after 11 I could have helped, but I know the feeling of having no one being able to help. That's why portable battery jumper packs are the best. Yeah, they really are. Didn't have one, but if I did, that would have been cool. Sports Bra said that's why you got to live in the country and not the big city. Well, I don't know. I think living in the big city was probably more convenient for this situation because, the car rescue guy, he was somewhere close and it wasn't that crazy long. It was like an hour and 15 minutes. That's not bad. In the country, you're just stranded. You're walking. You're just like, whew. What is the most country I've ever lived? I'm trying to think of what is the frozen. I lived in Frisco for a while. That was pretty country. And I know you people are laughing. You're like, Frisco is the most. Little Elm. Owned a home in Little Elm. That was pretty, to me it was country, but, could still walk to a 7-Eleven. All right, good. Signal's okay. Signal is good. Everything's fine. That's good. Okay, Adam just, he had a bad signal, and that was very upsetting to me. Adam is back. Adam is back from a 6-day whirlwind tour of Chicago. I enjoyed looking at his posts, all that good stuff. So what else do I need to mention about today? All right, I'll just tell you what the show is. If you're a first timer, and you're probably not, although maybe because it's a different time that we started today. So availability being the cause here. If you're a first timer, here's what I do. I do a stream of consciousness rant that is just me and my thoughts, the way I've been doing now for the past 12 minutes or so. No political calls, not during the show. Also, no politics during the show. I don't care how you voted. I have friends of all ilks. It doesn't matter how I vote. I don't need you to, judge me by that. Besides, I'm all over the road. We do a stream of consciousness rant. We, if you consider my split personalities, we do a stream of consciousness rant on all the day's hot topics, current events, trends, all of that stuff. If it's happening today, if it's something you need to know about, if it's content for your dinner table conversation, I'm here to provide it for you. We've been doing it every day for 3 years. You folks make it happen. Thank you so much. Thinner crowd today. I know, thinner crowd. It's a different time. Ugh. I was thinking about maybe changing the time altogether, just because doing the show and the way I have to put the show together, it takes a lot of time during premium business hours, and that's not always the most effective. So I don't know. Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Here's what we'll do. We'll either figure it out, or I'll just never address it, and we'll keep moving in this direction, and The show is performed in 4 quarters. It's just not me randomly talking. I do put it into segments just so I can provide myself with some form of guardrails here. The first one, we call that Antecedently on This Day. Antecedently on This Day is a look back at this day in history. Previously on September the 24th, that kind of thing. Quarter 2, the second segment, birthdays. We look at people who were born on this day and we decide, are they cool or do they suck? Quarter 3 is deads. Who died? They died. What did they do in their life? Where do you think they went? Did they go to heaven or did they go to hell? Those are the first 3 quarters. The fourth quarter, all the hot topics, current events, trends, and all that stuff. So whatever it is that is happening today, I'll get to that in the fourth quarter. But before that, we've got some prerequisites that we've got to go through, the first 3. Who else do we have? Peter's here. Peter says, well, you need to survive so we can adapt to whatever time you want. And he said master, and that was weird. That freaked me out a little bit. Don't say that. Although if you're going to say that, let's fucking start a church, man. You guys want to call me master? Yeah, I don't think you want to. Let's start a church. Let's the Church of the E-Gallery. Tax-free. I don't know. Do all kinds of things if we just call ourselves a church. Church of America today. The lighting is also an issue. I was up on a ladder. I should show you this ladder, this huge ass ladder yesterday, because we're in a studio and we've got, I don't know, how tall are those ceilings? 30-foot ceilings? I don't know. They're all the way up there, and we've got lighting racks. And I was trying to fix the lighting situation, so I was up there on a ladder yesterday, all alone. Let me tell you how this goes. I was all alone here yesterday, and I'm up on this ladder, and I'm probably a good 15, 20 feet up in the air. And I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, but I'm middle-aged and fat, and I shouldn't be on a ladder. And I'm up there, and I'm thinking to myself, my God, if I were to fall right now, I would fall 15 feet. I probably wouldn't die. It'd be a lot of pain, and nobody would ever find me. I would lay here for 15 hours in super pain until somebody finally came back in the next day. So that thought process caused me to get anxious up there, and I started to flop sweat, and it was at that point that I went, nope, just going down. I'm just going down. I do not see what I did. I fucked myself mentally because I shouldn't be on a ladder that high. Anyway, that's why the lighting is still bad. I promised yesterday that I'd get it fixed, and I failed you on that promise. So here we are again. What do we do now, huh? Hello, amigo. Al checking in. What is Adam selling? I see Adam in the chat room. He's talking about something being on sale. What is he talking about? Adam says they're often on sale for $30 to $40. Definitely worth having. I have that and an inflatable tire pump too. Oh, he's talking about the battery jumpers. I have jumper cables, but yeah, I don't have a portable battery pack to jump the thing. And then the dude tried to sell me a battery. Dude was like, you're probably going to need a new battery. And I'm like, it's got very low miles. He's like, that doesn't matter. These things are just timed to go out at a certain time. I'm like, what? Time to go out? was Israeli military? Are they, what is, what do you mean time to go out? It's a battery. Well, no, you're going to need a battery. So he gave me a card. He goes, I just happen to sell batteries on the side. I'm like, oh, really? You're the battery expert. He was nice, but he did go into kind of a hard sell on me. It was like, you're going to need a battery. You're totally going to need a battery. And, most guys, they'll sell them to you for like $400 or $500. I'll sell it to you for like $300 for a car battery for a Chevy Malibu? What? I don't think that's right. That can't be right. Although, who knows, man? Everything is expensive. Who knows? It's Chevy Malibu. I mean, it's nice, in good condition. It's clean. It's got low miles, all that. But it's a Chevy Malibu, a $300 battery. I'm not sure the car is worth on resale $300. No, I am. Of course I am. Let's see here. Adam confirms that he was talking about those jumpstart generators. All right, what do you say we get started? Since the show has been a little bit late today, stream of consciousness, I feel like I'm flowing. I've been through a lot. It's already been a very stressful day. Let's get started. Here we go. The day begins with the first segment. We call this segment antecedent. I'm like out of sorts. Guys, it may take me like 10, 15 minutes to get my head in this game. There we go. All right, let's do antecedently on this day. Here we go. Antecedently on this day for the 24th day of September, year of our Lord 2024. 24. It's 9/24/24. Antecedently on this day, I got to tell you how many days. 268 days have gone by. We are in the 268th day of the year. There's only 98 days remaining until the end of the year. That's right. We are inside 100. What'd you do in 2024? Anything cool? You didn't, did you? I mean, there's time. There's 98 days. Let's get it done, people. Antecedently on this day in the year 1890, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints officially renounces polygamy. That's right, polygamy. I thought that's still a thing. And they're even a show. It's like Mormon wives. 1890? How long was first of all, this is the first question you got to ask. How long was polygamy a thing in Mormonism? Because if this was 1890, is Mormonism and the Church of Latter-day Saints the same thing? It is, right? It is. Fuck. I don't know anything about these people. Here's what I know about Mormons. Their women are gorgeous. Not the ones you see on reality TV. The famous ones, like the Marie Osmond types. Very, very pretty. Well, a lot of blondes, a lot of teeth, a lot of blue eyes. It's a good look they got going on up there. It's a good, solid look. What else do I know about Mormons? Didn't the whole religion start in like 1860 something, right? Civil War times. It's basically the Scientology of Civil War times. That's what it is to me. Anyway, on this day, something big. There you go. No disrespect to your religion, or I should place a caveat on that. I mean, no more or less disrespect to your religion than I do to every other religion that's out there. How's that? Thank you, folks. All right. Antecedently on this day in the year 1906, United States President Theodore Roosevelt proclaims Devil's Tower in Wyoming as the nation's first national monument. Devil's Tower in Wyoming. That's the thing from Close Encounters. That's looks like a volcano, kind of. It's like it's the volcano of the Badlands or wherever it is. Theodore Roosevelt, by the way, Teddy Roosevelt, big environmentalists. Oh God, he was all about the tree hugging. He was also about the face shooting, though. He was a violent environmentalist. He loved the outdoors. He loved the tree. He didn't want the United States government to be creating, big. Well, he created our national parks. Theodore Roosevelt. That was his big thing. He's like, nah, I don't care how much developers think they could make off of this land. We're going to keep this and I'm glad we got a kick-ass park system in this country. On this day in 1906, Devil's Tower becomes the nation's first national monument. On this day, antecedently in the year 1948, the Honda Motor Company is founded. Honda Motors. Hondas. Never had a Honda. Never had a Honda. I had an Infiniti, but that's Nissan, right? Right? Okay. So like in the 1990s, you youngsters out there may not remember this. In the 1990s, there were a whole bunch of Japanese cars, and the Japanese car makers had, just had a hard-fought battle against American car-buying public. About 15 years. First 15 years of Japanese cars being here, everybody was like, Japanese cars, you gotta buy American. While you're driving a guy to work in your Japanese car because his American car is in the shop again. What it took about 15 years for people to realize is that Japanese cars were better than American cars, that Toyotas were going for 200,000 miles, that Hondas were going for 200,000 miles, Nissans were going for 200,000 miles, and you were lucky if you could get 100,000 out of a Chevy or a Ford round about 1985. So they were taken off. They were big. They were established. It was the culture of the American people. The thought had changed from all Japanese cars are garbage to Japanese cars are better. But here's the problem. They couldn't suddenly, Toyota, Nissan, Honda, founded on this day, by the way, in 1948, they couldn't just suddenly increase the prices for their car, and nobody wanted to buy a $100,000 Honda. Because Honda, although it was known as being dependable, it was not known as a nice car. So all three of the Japanese companies in the 90s introduced, maybe late 80s, they introduced a new premium brand, okay? Now, the first to do it, I believe, was Honda. I think Honda was the first to sell expensive cars, not as Hondas, but a new label called Acura, right? Isn't that Honda? Honda is Acura. And then Nissan did the same thing, and Nissan's premium badge line was known as Infiniti. And then, of course, Toyota did Lexus, right? Nobody's going to pay. Well, you have no problem paying $120,000 a year for a Lexus, but a lot of people would have had a problem with that in 1995, paying $120,000 a year for a Toyota. All right? They were like, no. So there you go. And it all started on this day in 1948. The Honda Motor Company is founded. On this day, antecedently in the year 2005, Hurricane Rita makes landfall in the United States, devastating portions of the southwestern Louisiana and extreme southeastern Texas. Rita, see, the big three, this was 2005, right? The big three. One we all remember. One I remember because I was in. And then there's Rita. But when I think of Rita, isn't Rita the Houston one? Didn't Rita cause a big problem in Houston? The one that I was in, we had 3 consecutive terrible, devastating hurricanes. It was Katrina, Rita, the one we're talking about today, and the one that I was in, Wilma, which was in October 21st. Wilma came through. Katrina obviously did her thing in Louisiana. I always think that Rita hit Houston particularly hard, and Wilma just fucked up the Yucatan Peninsula, which is where I was when Wilma came roaring through. Hurricanes. It's not really been a big hurricane season, has it? I mean, but when does hurricane season start? Isn't there 2? Doesn't it happen just when the seasons change? Or, I mean, seasons never change here in Texas, but in the rest of the world, like shit gets warmer around April, May, right? Isn't that hurricane season part 1? And then we have another hurricane season here as temperatures drop. I don't know how it works. All I know is there was a big one in 2005, Hurricane Rita. That's going to do it for Antecedently on this day. We are moving through. Let's do some birthdays. They claim it's their birthday. I don't know. Maybe it is. It's sad. The publicists claim it is anyway. Born on this day in 1918. Man, I had no idea this lady was this old. Born on this day in 1918. You guys know who Audra Lindley is? Can I interest anyone in some Audra Lindley? Look at her. Boom, there you go. You know Audra Lindley. She is, of course, Mrs. Roper. Mrs. Roper, Audra Lindley, born on this day in 1918. I had to do a little investigating because if you remember, oh, that's not sharing? Why is it not sharing? There it goes. Look at that. Audra Lindley. Look at her. Mrs. Roper. Boop, 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 boop. No, that's soap. That's soap. Oh, I was starting to do like. Come in, knock on out. Look at him. Look at him. He hated gays. That was his whole comedy bit, that he hated gays. And she was cool with gays. She didn't have a problem with Jack being gay. But him, nice guy, hated gays. There he is. There's Jack Tripper. Jack Tripper. He pretended he was gay, but we knew he wasn't. He's only pretending to be gay because we need the American public to still like him, because everybody knows it's cool to hate gays in 1978. Look at her. What's going on with her? Remember her whole bit, Audra Lindley, Mrs. Roper, her whole bit was that she was horny. She was like super horny, and she wasn't getting it from Stanley. And can you blame him? I mean, look at this. Although I'm trying to figure out, was she at all? No, she's like 58 years old here. That's how old Audra Lindley was when she started doing Roper. And, because that's only a couple of years older than I am now, I look at her and I think, would I? And I'm like, nah, I don't think so. All right, there you go. Happy birthday, Audra Lindley. That's Mrs. Roper. All right, born on this day in the year 1936. How about Jim Henson? Hey-o, hey-o, hey-o. I can't do any fucking voices. Hey-o. You know why I can't do any voices? Because my own voice is a voice. My own voice is like a voice that somebody trying to be funny might do. And the great curse of that is, although it's fairly original, it precludes me from doing any kind of other voice. Trying to do who can't do a fucking Kermit? I just tried to do Kermit and it was like, rah, rah. I mean, I can do Marge Simpson. That's about it. And isn't that a flattering thing to know that the only voice I can do is Marge Simpson? My kid does like it though when I go through the drive-thru as Marge Simpson. We bet. I'm like, think I can get him to say ma'am? They're drive-thru, ma'am. I'm like, think I can get this one to say ma'am? He's like, do Marge Simpson. I'm like, okay. I won't do it for you now because I don't feel like you've earned it. Happy birthday. Born on this day in 1936, Jim Henson. He created Sesame Street and all that stuff. Pretty important guy. I mean, pretty important guy for my generation, Gen X. We were raised on Sesame Street, for sure. We were the first generation to have that in our life. I don't have really anything else to say about Jim Henson other than Muppets are cool. Muppets are really cool. Muppets are cool. Muppets are still cool. I mean, Sesame Street is for babies. Muppets are for cool. Muppets know no age group. You can be my age, 55, and you can still appreciate a good Muppet bit. All right, moving on. Born on this day in 1941, Linda McCartney. Oh, yeah. Remember how much shit we gave her? Remember, Linda McCartney. Yeah. Because Paul would put her up on stage and like make her a part of the band because she could kind of play piano. So she had like a keyboard and she was just loud up there on the band. She had a microphone and she would sing backgrounds, except that, her microphone wouldn't be on. Like it wouldn't be in the mix going out to the crowd. But she's up on stage and she's singing and she's having fun. And everybody found out about that. They were like, oh, Linda McCartney's not. And they made fun of her and they were mean to her. And it was always like, oh, she's the ugly Beatle. What? Like, are you kidding me? Have you seen Yoko Ono? There's nothing wrong with Linda McCartney. What the? Anyway, she took a lot of shit. And they took a lot of shit. And then she died and he moved on. But I want to talk more about like how people were like so fucking mean to her. Like my growing up, I remember people like just not liking Linda McCartney. Not to the extent that people didn't like Yoko. That was a whole different thing. But people just seemed to be very mean and derisive towards Linda McCartney. And when you think about it, here's why. Because they were a couple in love. They were like a really loving couple. Like for years and years and years they were together. And then she got sick and we're Linda sucks because she loves him and he obviously loves her. Doesn't she suck? I mean, he wanted her on stage because he didn't want to tour without her. Nothing wrong with that. That's kind of cool. If you're a husband and you're with a woman and you love her so much that you don't need to go out on tour to get away with her. And so you want to give her something to do. You want to make her feel good. And then the whole world just makes fun of her. Now, this whole attitude could change if I had one iota that she was a bitch or anything like that. But that's the other thing. No, like nobody says she was a bitch. Everybody's like, she was so sweet. You know what sucks about her? She made Paul a vegan. Fuck that bitch. Really? Linda McCartney? I don't know. I think Linda McCartney caught a lot of strays over the years, and really, I think it's all because people just couldn't handle the fact that there was a happy, successful, loving couple in the entertainment industry. Linda McCartney, born on this day in 1941, born on this day in 1948. How about this one? This is one of the greats. This is one of the greats who I'm afraid isn't going to be remembered. And that's a real shame because he is one of the greats. My 15-year-old son, who I've told you over the years, I've made it my responsibility to be in charge of his cultural education. I want him to know things. I don't want him to be a dummy, right? I don't want him to be a fucking dummy at a party when he's 20 years old and not know who Martin Scorsese is, right? I don't want that. I don't want him to be a dummy who doesn't know who, the Clash were, right? I want him to know shit about the world. And he does. He has really taken to it. He knows a lot of shit. He's a smart kid. This guy whose birthday it is today was somebody who I made it a real project to get to know. And we spent a whole Saturday afternoon just watching his videos on YouTube over and over. And it was very quick that my son was like, okay, Dad, I get it. Happy birthday. Born on this day, the great Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman. See, my kid, he's 15 years old. He knows that the voice. The hi there, friends, that fake salesman voice. That's like a thing. His generation knows what that is through, videos or whatever it is. They know what that is, but they don't know what it comes from. And I'm like, that's Phil Hartman. That's Phil Hartman from The Simpsons. That's what that is. Oh, it's funny. And then I showed him Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer, and he loved that. I also remember I showed him a whole bunch of his Ed McMahon stuff and his Phil Donahue stuff, his impressions. That didn't go over so well. My 15-year-old had no idea what the source material was. And I'm like, no, he's really funny because, see, he's doing Ed McMahon. And then I'm looking at my kid. My kid's like, who's Ed McMahon again? I'm like, yeah, never mind. Anyway, happy birthday to the great Phil Hartman, born on this day in 1948. Born on this day in 1964. Shout out for us Texas Ranger fans. Hey, happy birthday, Rafael Palmeiro. Rafael Palmeiro, born on this day in 1964. Cuban-American baseball player. Hell of a mustache. Well, what you say about him? He had a world-class mustache. All right, let's talk about the deads now, ladies and gentlemen. These are the people who've died on this day. Who've died. Dead on this day in 1991. Did he go to heaven or did he go to hell? How about a shout-out for Dr. Seuss? Dr. Seuss. Theodore Geisel. I didn't have to look that up. I didn't even click on it. Theodore Geisel was his name. Dr. Theodore Geisel, because I did a report on him. I remember in college or high school or something. I don't know. I did something on him once, and I remember going, oh, Theodore Geisel. That's Dr. Seuss's name. Dr. Seuss, I think we can put him in heaven, right? How awesome were those books? Those books were awesome. When you were 5 or 6 years old, and you open up your first Dr. Seuss book, and you see the crazy hats and the crazy colors and the crazy situations, that dude fucking rocked. That dude was awesome. He did nothing but make, board 5 and 6. And we didn't have anything else. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have that. We had Dr. Seuss and Richard Scarry books. Both were awesome. Born on this day in 1991, Dr. Seuss. He's going to heaven, if I have anything to say about it. Dead on this day in 2016, actor Bill Nunn. Bill Nunn's been in a lot of things, but I think his coolest role ever was Radio Raheem. Spike Lee movies. He's in all the Spike Lee movies. Bill Nunn. Radio Raheem was cool, but probably going to hell. So, I don't know. I'll sentence that character to hell, and Bill Nunn will have to explain it to the devil when he's down there. Born on this day dead on this day in 2016. I don't know who this is because I don't like this kind of music, but I think he's a New Orleans guy. And I know the name because I've heard the name for years and years, so I know he's important. And he died on this day in 2016. And I'm just mentioning him because it's one of the coolest names I've ever heard. Dead on this day in 2016, Buckwheat Zydeco. American accordionist and band leader. He's a New Orleans guy, right? He makes that New Orleans racket. And that's what it is. New Orleans music is racket. Everything about New Orleans is awful, but with a positive spin. Everything about New Orleans is awful with a positive spin. Their food is burnt. It's blackened. It's not burnt. It's blackened with a positive spin. Their music is unlistenable. We're the capital of jazz. Your music is unlistenable. That's what we call jazz. Respect us. It smells and it stinks and it's humid. And they're like, but you can piss in the streets. And I'm like, yeah, you can piss in the streets. Not a big fan of New Orleans. Buckwheat Zydeco. Cool name. Don't know anything else. New Orleans. Going to hell. Just like everything else in New Orleans. One might wonder, Pugs, why do you hate New Orleans? I don't hate New Orleans. I do not hate New Orleans. What New Orleans does is confuses me. It confuses me that people think, it's a lot like, how people vote. Like, it just confuses me how people vote. It's like, really? You think, you look at that person and you think I can put them in charge? No, people who go to New Orleans and they're like, I just love New Orleans, the Big Easy. I just love it. And I'm like, really? You ever been anywhere cool? Like, is that like the only place you go? Rather go to New Orleans than, I don't know, I'd rather go to Miami than New Orleans. And that's saying a lot because I do not enjoy Miami. But I think I enjoy it more than New Orleans. The other thing about New Orleans that I always think is messed up, and maybe this is gone now because I ain't been there in like 5 years. But right in the middle of like the downtown showplace area, right there on the river, it's where the big casino is and all that. Right there in the middle of New Orleans is a gigantic skyscraper that has been condemned. Like it's got chain link fencing around, or at least it did. It's got like chain link fencing around it. And I'm like, this is in the middle of your fucking downtown. What kind of backward ass city are you running here? You don't let this happen to a building like this. In a city like this is embarrassing. This would be like if you're like just in the middle of New York City, the Chrysler building was just all falling apart and dilapidated and it was condemned and you had to put a chain link fence around. That'd be insane. It's right there in the middle of New Orleans. I'm like, this is a skyscraper that is condemned in the middle of New Orleans across the street from the cool ass casino in the really nice hotel that I'm staying at. The convention center is right there and you've got to condemn. If you go to the convention center in New Orleans, it's like the first thing you see is like a giant condemned building. Peter says New Orleans does smell, but Jazz Fest is a good time. And look, everything can be a good time. Oh, and by the way, I've had a blast every time I've gone to New Orleans. I've had a great time. But I am the type of person who I can have a good time pretty much anywhere if the people I'm with are fun. If the people I'm with are fun, we can have fun. And look, New Orleans is cool. Like I'd rather go to New Orleans than Waco. How's that? Will you take that? I'd rather go to New Orleans than Baton Rouge, which is another. I gotta be honest. The entire state of Louisiana is very icky to me. It's like, ugh, I don't know. And I have a Catahoula. That's my dog. Is the state dog of Louisiana. I got her out of there. I rescued her, brought her to the great state of Texas. In America, New Orleans, everything is French. Commit to a culture, people. How about that? Yeah, why are people in New Orleans allowed to not drop the whole French thing? But when somebody comes over here and they got a little bit of an accent, it's like, learn to speak American. But somehow we allow the entire state of Louisiana to just pretend like they got 1 foot in France and 1 foot here. I don't get it. Adam says Chicago smelled like pee on certain streets and especially in the subway. Fuck yeah, in the subway. Where do you think the bums piss? That's where they're gonna piss, in the subway. You know where it didn't smell like pee, Adam? You know where it didn't smell like pee? On Navy Pier. No. Or in Millennium Park. No. But yeah, there's fucked up neighborhoods in Chicago smell like a lot worse than pee. I can direct you to Argo. Argo in Chicago is, ugh. It's where they make Argo cornstarch products. You know what Argo cornstarch? So Argo is a neighborhood in Chicago where Argo cornstarch products are made, and that is the worst smelling place in America. All right, we're good. We're done. I'm just, I don't hate New Orleans. Again, I don't hate New Orleans. I think it's not that I think it's overrated, and it is. It's that I don't understand why it's so rated at all. I don't understand why it's kind of like people thinking that who's the gay Asian guy on SNL? Bowen Yang. It's like people thinking Bowen Yang is super talented. Bowen Yang is the New Orleans of Saturday Night Live. No, or New Orleans is the Bowen Yang of American party cities. That's what it is. All right, I've shit enough on New Orleans. I hope none of you will judge me for it. I know April's like, I'm a hater. I don't know that I'm a hater. I don't know I'm a hater. I'm not a hater. Again, I'm not a hater. I can have a really good time in New Orleans, and I have. I've been in New Orleans many times. I have great times. Friends who live there. But every time I'm there, I'm like, so this is what everybody raves about, huh? No. Never had that experience in New York City. Didn't have that experience in London. Didn't have that experience at some of the other great world cities where people go. I'm like, yeah, this is what people say. In New Orleans, I'm just always like, the food is burnt. I waited in line for an hour for some po' boy sandwich. Like, I waited in line and said, it's the best po' boy in all of New Orleans. And I guess it's right there in the tourist area. And they had a big Mama's Kitchen. I don't know, something like that. I waited and I ate half of it. I'm like, this is not even a good sandwich. What is this flavor? I don't like that's probably the problem. I probably just don't like Cajun flavoring or whatever the hell it is they ruin everything with down there. April, are you mad? Is April mad because I don't like New Orleans as much as everybody else? And that's, I think, the best way for me to phrase it. I just don't like New Orleans. I like New Orleans. I just don't like it as much as everybody else. Can you handle that, people of Louisiana? And I still am a little confused about how you people are allowed to be like, half French and half American. But whatever. It's been in place for a long time and nobody ever said anything, so here we are. Hi, Nina. Nina's showing up a little bit late. And when I say we, I mean me, just taking a big old dump on New Orleans for absolutely no reason. All right, let's get forward now. Let's forward thinking. It's 3:45. Let's talk about all the things that are happening on this day. And before we do that, let me direct your attention to the show runs on your tips. If you enjoy this kind of scintillating, relevant current events talk, help support it. Talk without the political agendas or any sort of, being forced by advertisers or national syndicators to toe a certain line, carry a certain kind of water. That's not what we do here. We just, what we do is me. We do me here. And I'm somebody who refuses to fit in one box or another. So welcome, normal Americans, to what I hope is the right kind of talk radio. All right, let's get started. Here we go. Got the flag behind me. That's a good start. People know. And I'm wondering if now will people pass by and see this? What's it look like on YouTube? Will they, because I just want people to see the flag and go, oh, I'm going to listen to him because he likes America. That's what I'm going for. So now look who's whoring out the flag. Yeah. All right, big story. First and foremost, let's talk about Israel and Hezbollah. Israel and Hezbollah. It's been going on for a couple of days now. They're saying they're just softening them up for a ground invasion. That's the Israelis. The Israelis are going to go into Lebanon and take on Hezbollah. And why wouldn't they? The situation down south in Gaza with Hamas, that has gone so well. Let's do that again. Maybe it's just like they had all of this shit that they still wanted to use in Gaza, and the whole world was like, stop it in Gaza, don't. And then they're like, well, we got all this stuff. So they just moved it up north, and now they're just going to, Hezbollah's going to get a little what for. And I got to tell you, although I am somebody who believed that the ongoing pounding of the people there in Gaza did kind of get a little bit much. I think it's fine. I said, let's go, Israel. Let's clean up Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a problem. By the way, Hezbollah is today publicly begging Iran to attack Israel. Hezbollah's like, please attack Israel on our behalf. If Iran didn't go in with troops or with any kind of significant military strategy, a force, something that was obviously pre-planned, if Iran didn't do that after Israel blew up the Hamas head who was living in Iran, remember the head of Hamas was staying in a house in Iran, and Israel sent a missile in and blew it up. If Iran didn't go in after that, and they didn't, they ain't going in now because a bunch of Hezbollah dudes are humiliated because their pagers and two-way radios blew up. So it ain't going to happen. So they're begging Iran. Iran's not going to do it. Iran don't want this smoke over this. Now, if Iran feels that, here's the line that they can't. Again, if Israeli troops cross over into Iran, if there is some kind of, if there's another attack against a person linked to Hamas or Hezbollah inside Iran, and the attack is, of course, done out by Israel, then maybe a problem. But we have gotten through the most tense moment between Israel and Iran ever. We've gotten through it. It's been 3 weeks now, maybe more than that. And Iran has not retaliated with any significance. They lobbed a couple of missiles in the days that followed, and they even said, that's that with that. We're moving on. Hezbollah begging them, please, Iran, Israel's coming across these borders. Please, did you see what they did with our pagers and our two-way radios? And oh, get this. Here's the latest thing. Israel, man, these dudes are fucking... Oh, you take the muzzle off and you just can't get that dog back. You just can't. Hezbollah's media office said today that Israel was dropping leaflets with very dangerous barcodes on them into Lebanon's eastern Bekaa Valley. Okay, so they made the isn't this crazy? They made the beepers explode, and a couple of days later, they made the walkie-talkies explode. These are all Hezbollah's toys. And now they're dropping leaflets with barcodes, and Hezbollah is saying, don't scan the barcodes. Here's why. Because I was wondering, what, do they explode? That's some fucking cool-ass tech, right? I didn't think that was a thing. But no, here's what happens. Hezbollah is warning people not to scan the barcodes being dropped on leaflets by Israel, because once you scan them, it immediately... steals all of your information on your phone, your whereabouts, where you are, your personal information. So if you're like a Hezbollah dude and you're trying to, stay away from Israel, but who would do that? Would you do that? You just live, I don't know where you live. You live in Flower Mound. You're just walking down the street in Flower Mound and a piece of paper falls from the sky and it's got a barcode. Do you whip out your phone and scan it? I think I might. I think I might be like, what's the worst that can happen? I don't know. But if I was a terrorist, I probably wouldn't. All right. So a lot going on there. Israel, Hezbollah, it's ramping up. Let me do a quick check-in. Is my boy Steve Lookner at Agenda Free TV? You know it's important if he's live streaming. He's been live streaming like a mofo the last couple of days, man. He just sits there for like 12 hours at a time, this dude on YouTube. Steve Lookner, Agenda Free TV, the best in breaking news that there is. There was a point in time 3 years ago when I started doing this, when I wanted to try and give him a run for his money, but I just can't do it. didn't have whatever it is that he's got. He's tremendous. So much praise to him. He is not covering it right now. So probably not anything big going on. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Joe Biden, the guy who's still president, but is he really? And he's not running. And he's, Joe Biden, he got up and he went to the UN General Assembly today. Something's going on at the UN. Everybody's there. Everybody's speaking. I woke up this morning and I had like the dude from Brazil, the president of Brazil, is like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, something's going on. And then the big bumper said, Joe Biden, president of the United States, to speak at the UN. So he got up there. What did he talk about? I don't know. I didn't see it, but there you go. If he's alive, he came out, he spoke to the world. I don't know what he was talking about, though. Also, in England, here's another big thing that is making waves over there. The new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, who is not long for the job, I promise you. But is anybody? I mean, seriously, hasn't the UK had like 10 prime ministers in the last 9 months? Don't they just constantly been turning over? They lose a vote, and the guy's like, I will fall on my sword. Like, isn't that what happened, how this whole thing started? Who was the guy? There was some guy, he was kind of popular, and then Brexit happened, and he said, I'll resign if Brexit happens, and then he resigned, and then they brought in somebody else, and then that person, like, fucked up really quickly, and she was gone. I think that was Theresa May. And then who'd you have? Then you had Boris Johnson. Didn't he become prime minister for a while, and then he fucked up, and he was gone. And then there was like an Indian dude, which was like a big deal because it's like, the first Indian dude, and then he's gone, and then now you got this. I don't know why they keep going through him. Anyway, here Keir Starmer, who is much embattled, made a big announcement today, and it caught everybody by shock. Very popular announcement that he made there in London. This is why I'm mentioning it, because I don't know that it would be very popular here. Keir Starmer announced today plans for the UK government to ensure the perpetual housing of all veterans. All veterans. And he even referenced the United States of America, about how you walk in America and you can walk down the street and you see dudes in army jackets and military jackets. Didn't say that we turn on our veterans, but the vibe was there. I got what he was saying. The UK is not going to allow anybody who has served in their military to be homeless. I don't know how he's going to do it, but we ought to have that attitude here. You know me. You know me. I'm Mr. Veterans Causes. I'm Mr. HireAHero.org. Our good friend Rob hangs out in the chat room. That's an organization that he has been working for 20 years. He founded it. It's one of the best veterans assistance organizations in America. I was so proud of my association with them for quite some time. But yeah, it makes me sick. Makes me sick. You walk down the street and you see dudes, 2 tours in Iraq, and they're on the street. There's got to be a safety net for our soldiers. There's got to be a safety net. There's got to be some accounting for the idea that, they might be fucked up because of shit that went on over there, and we need to make sure that they don't struggle once they come back. But we don't. We don't care. Ew, roll up the windows, lock the doors. Ew, he's gross. Ew. Meanwhile, 15 years ago, you're all like, thank you for your service. Thank you. Did you see my bumper sticker? It says I support you. But now you're like, ooh, roll him up. Roll him up. He's gross. Here he comes. Fuck that guy. Ooh, I hate this neighborhood. We got to take care of our veterans. And they're making a real concerted effort there in England, at least in the speech today by PM Keir Starmer. Mark Robinson. Let's talk about Mark Robinson. All right, this dude, this crazy dude. He's the guy, lieutenant governor in North Carolina. How he got that position, I have no idea, because he's obviously not qualified for it. He was a crazy, wackadoo, early Twitter influencer who just fell in with the right crowd at the right time. And now he's fucking lieutenant governor of North Carolina. No legal, no background in anything. He doesn't know shit from Shinola. And he's there just mucking up the works. And guess what? He's the guy, he's running for governor now. Trump endorsed him. He's the Republican candidate. It's why North Carolina is going to go blue. This guy is tanking the entire state. Embarrassing, dude. He won't get the fuck out of the way. Well, he can't. I guess it's too late now to get him off the ballot. That's too bad. So he hung out in like porn rooms and shit. Here, all right, we'll give you the new thing on him. Mark Robinson, what is the latest? Newly unearthed data shows closer links to Robinson and porn and dating sites. Now, this isn't just he was on porn sites. I think everybody in Congress has been on a porn site. That's not what this is about. He wasn't just on a porn site. It's that he was hanging out in multiple porn sites' comment sections, mixing it up with the fellow pervs like a weirdo. Dude, I don't use a lot of porn, but I understand that the way you use porn, or at least the way you should use it, and maybe this is just my Irish Catholic guilt, but first of all, you're incognito mode, right? You're not leaving any foot trips. You go to incognito mode. I live alone. I got nobody else that lives with me. I don't even have a girlfriend, and I still put it in incognito mode. You go to incognito mode, and then you go and you do your business as quick as you can, and you get out of there. You don't post porn visit, browse, you get out of there. And then you double check your history to make sure it's I was in incognito, right? I just don't want any of this stuff coming up. This dude was just lurking and hanging out on porn sites and then going to comment sections and then mixing it up with people in the comment. It's just all so fucking weird and undignified and obviously something that makes you unfit to babysit my kid, let alone run the fucking state of North Carolina. But okay, not big deal. So what? He hung out and he hung out in chat rooms with porno people. Weird. And then we've got the next level on this clown show, this shit show candidate. He's not just being a nice guy. He's not just I really like this porn. No, he's in there going, I fucking hate black people and I'm a black Nazi. And, he's doing all of this shit, which is just so dumb. And he never thought he'd be running for governor. And he's having fun. And by the way, he's denying it all. I ain't doing it. So all of these tech experts, these tech companies, one after another, CNN last night had a list of them. They've all reached out to him. They have all said, Mark, we would like to provide you our services. We will, if in fact this is not you, we will without a shadow of a doubt be able to prove it if you just grant us access. And he's like, nope, nobody, nobody. So he's not, the people who are saying, because he's saying that this isn't him. He's saying that this is, I wasn't me. I was never there. So he's saying that it's not him, that this is some dirty Democratic trick. That's what he's saying. So the tech people are like, oh, well, we can prove that. You want us to prove? Let's go prove that. Come on, you can help us. Let's prove it and we'll clear your name. And he's like, no, not going to happen. How do I know that you're not evil Democrat? See, when you create a reality where only the things you want to believe become your truth, this is what happens. Newly unearthed data shows closer links to Robinson in porn sites. Let's see, I don't care about who endorsed them. We don't do that. Top Republican leaders in North Carolina and nationwide have called on Mark Robinson to provide proof that he wasn't behind salacious posts on a pornography website. But new information continues to point to his involvement in the type of online sexual activity that he is now currently vehemently denying. User data reviewed by Politico shows that the person using the Nude Africa account that reportedly belonged to Robinson, Nude Africa, that was the website that he liked. He had an account with Nude Africa. The Nude Africa account that reportedly belonged to Robinson had accessed the porn website from a location coincidentally not far from his home. Okay, so back when this was done, he says it's not him. I didn't do it. He says it's not him. But coincidentally, whoever this was, they were using the same internet connection as where he lives. So they're like, wow, might be a neighbor. It's coming from inside the house. User data reviewed by Politico show that the person using the Nude Africa account that reportedly belonged to Robinson had accessed the porn website from a location not far from Robinson's home. Robinson's email address is also registered with other previously unreported dating sites and porn sites. Robinson, let's see, we don't need to go into here. Let's find out. Robinson, whose top campaign advisors all quit his staff. They all resigned. His entire... So when you're a guy like him and you don't have any political background, but you get the backing of Donald Trump, who is a very high-profile national force within the GOP, when you do that, the GOP then sends down top dogs to run your campaign, strategists, PR people, okay? So now suddenly you got Mark Robinson, you got him, and now you got all of these fucking political sharks who were sent down by the GOP to run this guy's campaign. Yeah, when this happened last week, they all went, yeah, fucking see ya. We are out. We are gone. So they all left. So everybody left. Nobody wants their careers because nobody believes him. Everybody believes the report that this was him. Robinson, whose top campaign advisors and nearly all of his staff resigned on Sunday, continues to deny a report that he called himself a, quote, black Nazi, admitted to enjoying watching transgendered pornography, and made graphic comments about other sexual preferences more than a decade ago on Nude Africa. He also denied a report by Politico that he had an account on Ashley Madison, a website for married people seeking affairs. All right, whatever. I don't care. Is there anything funny here? Okay, so it goes on here. It shows that the IP address is consistent. All right, I'll just read it to you because I don't know. A review of account data associated with Mark Robinson's email address from multiple porn websites that had been previously blah, 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 blah. Shows that the websites breached user data posted on the dark web in recent years. All right, so I don't know what that means. A new Political review of account data associated with Robinson's email address from multiple websites that had been previously hacked and the websites breached user data posted on the dark web in recent years shows that the IP address listed with Robinson's Nude Africa account is located in the Piedmont Triad region of North Carolina, where he lived. It's a good thing. Files from various data breaches that captured Robinson's user information were shared by Politico by Megan Squire, a computer scientist and deputy director for data analytics at the Southern Poverty Law Center, a nonprofit legal advocacy group that has not taken a position on the North Carolina governor's race, but has monitored I don't care anymore. Anyway, this guy is funny. He has no business being almost the governor of North Carolina, but I'm telling you, the Democrats are just licking their chops because they just turned a red state blue because of this guy. At least that's what they think. And here's what's fun about Democrats. A lot of times the shit they think is way wrong. Turns out not to be right. Remember when they thought Hillary was going to walk away with it? They're all clowns. Hi, Frankie. Frankie's like, hi, Pugs. D Vega, Pugs believing that incognito mode actually does anything. Well, it does. It does something for me. Doesn't pop up. Doesn't show. It does for me. Does a lot. Making fun of me. All right, let's keep going. Okay, let's talk about Diddy a little bit. This is fun. This is a fun story because now, right, the dust has settled on old Diddy. He's sitting there. He's in an orange jumpsuit. He's on suicide watch. They're worried about what he's going to do. P. Diddy, of course, rap music, hip hop impresario. He did some things. Did some things right in the public. Everybody's shocked. But, we have been celebrating the idea that Diddy throws some of the craziest and wildest parties. We've been celebrating this fact for 25 years. They were called as white parties. They weren't called freak-offs. Now we know about these freak-offs, which are maybe happening in a room or maybe after a white party. I don't know. But Diddy's parties were always the thing that every celebrity wanted to go to. And you saw, look, it was Entourage. Didn't they go to a Diddy party in Entourage or something? Or the Kardashians, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. We went to a Diddy party. I mean, it was like a big deal. It's a big deal. A lot of celebrities been partying with him over the years. So the dust is kind of settled, and now we're poking around. Now we're like, okay, so some crazy shit was going on at these parties. And again, I'd like to point out, I don't have a problem with any of the crazy shit that was happening at these parties. If it involved, I've seen some crazy, they're little kids, they're flying kids in cages so that Steven Spielberg could make porno movies and then sell them out of Tom Hanks's garage. There's a lot of that shit. But none of the stuff that has been, mentioned here, he's not being charged with, child molesting or anything else. Maybe. We'll see. We got to keep an open mind. But right now, all we're looking at are charges that he kidnapped and forced to have rape. Okay, well, did he kidnap and raped adults? These are all adult women. So far. But, people say all kinds. But whatever. Right now, this is what we have to react to. What we know. Whole bunch of... my point on that was this. Again, just Google search Led Zeppelin Shark. We're selectively outraged that we found out that Diddy is doing these things when, it's all rock stars have done crazy ass shit with the sexual hijinks of celebrities and people in power. What do you think? It's a new thing? Have you never heard of Roman orgies? Have you not familiarized yourself with the works of Caligula? I mean, when people have power in the way that Diddy had power, you start to get bored. And so you have to make things more and more extreme and wild and unbelievable. This is the curse of the emperor. They start doing little boys there in ancient Greece. We got so much power. Well, I guess they didn't have. Did they have emperor? What did they have in Greece? What did they have in Greece? They had emperors and... Oh, God, I'm so stupid. They had democracy in Greece. That's what they had. They had democracy. Where democracy was invented. I'm sitting here like a moron going, who was the king of Greece? Did they have a king? It's fucking democracy. All right, whatever. I don't know. All I'm saying is that these things happened. These things always happened. The casting couch we saw with the Me Too thing, all of a sudden we became outraged by the idea of the casting couch when everybody knew the casting couch was a thing. For years, telling some jokes. You go on Johnny Carson. I met him in his office. Oh, I bet you got to know the casting couch. Everybody laughs. She sucked a dick for a role. It's 1975. It's still funny. We selectively pick these things, and time changes, and I guess time changes the lens by which we view these events, and we feel bad about them. I don't know. And again, this is something that a lot of you get wrong. I'm not commenting either way. I'm observing. I'm just pointing out that it used to be okay to make a starlet sleep with you to get a career. They used to joke about it. It's not okay. Now you go to prison. Now you go to jail. And again, that's right. Like Harvey Weinstein belongs in jail. Sounds like he was a rapist. Sounds like he held people down and trapped them in rooms, and So anyway, the Diddy party shouldn't really shock us. It's not like he was doing something there that was completely unbelievable. However, he was doing things with other big-name celebrities. And I'm telling you, these are the people in Hollywood right now who need to keep a low profile. They don't want to be talking about it. They don't want... Now, who are they? Now, we're not just talking about hip-hop luminaries. We're not talking about the people we would expect to find out we're hanging out with Diddy and going to... No, I'm talking about... Diddy was crossover. Diddy's got a lot of fucking people at his parties who aren't hip-hop guys or music guys. He's got athletes. He's got rock stars. Kid Rock has been to a couple of Diddy parties. That's right. Oh, you think this is just a liberal thing? You think it's just libs? No, it's not. It's everybody. It's powerful people. All the powerful people wanted to party with Diddy. And apparently... there's evidence of this somewhere, whether it be on videotapes, and who's got it? Feds? And if the feds got it, when do they start kicking in the doors of some other celebrities for the actions that they were found to be doing in those videos? If, in fact, there are any actionable. Anyway, here we go. There's a story that talks about the most... these are the photos. Hold on. Diddy's closest friends are on high alert. Photos of gatherings are like a time capsule of the late 90s and early 90s. Here are some of the people who are, should we show the, yeah, let's see the pictures. Here, let's look at these pics. Here's our pictures, and then we'll go through a list of the people who need to be most concerned. All right, so here, let's see. These are pictures from Diddy's parties that they've been out. None of these are like, oh, we found these. No, these have been out. And we all have seen them over the years, and we've been like, oh, look at that. Although now it takes on a different context, doesn't it? Now it's a little bit weirder because we know about the kind of stuff that's going on at these parties. All right, let's look at some of these pics. Give me a minute. See some of these people. All right. Now, what is this here? All right, this is a video. I don't care about a video. It looks like it's a video of him coming out on the veranda at one of his white parties. See, white parties, everybody's got to wear white. All right, let's look at the celebrities. Let's see who he's got. Oh, look. Okay, so here we go. This is a celebrity that definitely needs to be keeping a low profile. You got 30 of these? What if I just view the whole gallery? Is that a thing? Does that work? All right. Let's get rid of that. Can we see that right? Is that enough? All right, so there you go. This is J-Lo and Diddy at one of Diddy's parties. They're just laying there. J-Lo went to all the parties. You think J-Lo knew about the freak-offs? I bet they do. Okay, let's look here. This is a fun one. This is hard to see. Who do we have here in this picture at one of Diddy's big crazy parties? We got Kimora Lee Simmons. We got Russell Simmons. We got Damon Dash. We got Aaliyah. God rest her soul. We got Jennifer Lopez. We got Lisa and Billy Zane. There's some rando shit for you, right? Actor Billy Zane. God, when was this? 1992? When the fuck was Billy Zane at a level where he could be invited? All right, you got Billy Zane. Let's see who else. Matthew Broderick and Sarah Jessica Parker. Look at those two. What are they getting into? My God. Look, here's what I hope. I just hope that Ryan Murphy is taking copious notes about all the shit that's going on here, because I want to see the Ryan Murphy created Diddy party movie. Be lots of creepy people playing. Like, I want Billy Eichner and who's the chick? Leslie somebody. Billy Eichner and the woman. Okay, the woman who's, if you're watching the Menendez, the woman who's playing the Leslie Grossman, the attorney for Eric. She's famous, Leslie. I don't know, she's a famous Jewish lady attorney from LA. She was big in the 80s and 90s, Leslie something. All right, so the girl who's playing her in that Ryan Murphy thing, she plays Sarah Jessica Parker. Billy Eichner playing creepy Matthew Broderick, like creepy, sexy Sarah, not sexy, creepy sex people, Matthew Broderick and Sarah Jessica Parker. Isn't that an angle? Like, you wouldn't think of them being like the creepy hot tub couple, but maybe they are. Maybe they are. All right, who else do we got in this picture? Got Matthew Broderick, Sarah Jessica Parker, Andre Harrell. Oh, that's from what's it? Isn't that Andre 3? Is that Andre 3000? Is that his real name? All right, so here, that's just one picture. Let's look at more of these pictures. It's a big group photo. All right, here's J-Lo. Here's J-Lo. Is this Aaliyah? Is that Aaliyah? She did. She won't tell no stories. All right, here's more pictures from his. All right, here we go. Now, this is the other one that people are saying is in a lot of trouble. If details come out, look at him there. It's Leonardo DiCaprio, living life. We already know that Leonardo DiCaprio is like a poon hound. He loves young girls, loves them. And it was fine when he himself was a young man, but he, and I can't blame him. He's a 50-year-old man now, and he's still into like 19-year-olds, and, they're pretty and all that. I get it. But Leonardo DiCaprio is absolutely somebody that they're going to want to talk to. I'm sure he's laying low. What else do we have here? Oh, so here is a pool party scene at one of Diddy's pool parties. You can see everybody's still dressed in white. What we have here is somebody, it's two girls naked, grinding on some dude and pouring champagne in his mouth. That's a Diddy freak party. And look, everybody's just walking around like that's normal. It's just normal to have people fucking in the pool. It is, I guess. Not at any party I've ever been to, but okay. All right, here's more. There's half-naked chicks. There's some more half-naked chicks just walking around the party. He created a whole Hefner kind of thing without having to be Hefner. All right, here he is up on, who's he? Dougie Fresh, Andre Harrell, and Diddy at the white party, September 2007. These people getting into some shit. Here you go. Now, this is the other guy that people are wanting to talk about, Ashton Kutcher. That's right. Pre-Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher used to go to all the Diddy parties. He was good friends with Diddy. Apparently, they were better friends than I think most of us know. Like, hang out buddies, like enjoyed each other's company, suggesting that they're into the same kinds of things. Anyway, Ashton Kutcher was one of the big, every Diddy party, Ashton Kutcher was there. There he is, having fun. Looks like he's swinging. That's the prison, I guess, where Diddy is now. Tommy Lee, that's right. Tommy Lee and Pam Anderson, individually and together, were frequent visitors to the P. Diddy parties. Who's this? Oh, these are just models. There's a bunch of hot girls. I'm sure that was just dime a dozen hot girls. Champagne girls. Diddy without a shirt on. This is another picture. A huge pile of guests, including Diddy himself at a party in 2000 at Diddy's mansion. All right. That's going to do it for the pictures. All right, let's stop with the pictures. But I did want to go in deeper on some of the people who are we went through some of them. Leonardo DiCaprio, he's a big one that people want to talk to, okay? Martha Stewart is also somebody who apparently attended a number of Diddy parties. Jay-Z and Beyonce, Mariah Carey, of course, Tommy Lee and Pam Anderson, Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian is somebody who has said, and I'll tell you, she got out of there before the nutty stuff started because Kim is a good girl. She is. And of course, Justin Bieber and Usher are people who have been conspicuously quiet since this started. Both Usher and Justin Bieber were taken under the wing of P. Diddy at different times. Usher in the early 90s when he was, forced to go live with Diddy in the mansion, saw a lot of things. Usher, apparently, there's a tape out of him on the Howard Stern show back in the early 2000s talking about things that he experienced as a little kid while living with Diddy. So that's problematic. And then you got Justin Bieber, who everybody is like, man, Justin Bieber. Remember when he was 16 and like hanging out with Diddy and people were like, is that okay? And yeah, he's Justin Bieber. There you go. Ooh, I was surprised by the Ashton Kutcher thing. I did not know that Ashton Kutcher and P. Diddy were close. And then this whole article is like, no, they were very close. They're very close. They're friends. None of them are responding. None of their agencies or PR departments or whatever it is that speak to the media for these big celebrities. They've all been contacted looking for comment concerning the Diddy arrest and their friendships with Diddy, and all of them, it says here, not a single one has responded, and it's been like a week now. So yeah, they are lying low. Anyway, those shoes are going to drop. I think those shoes are going to drop, and I think we're going to see a lot of celebrities who are going to be putting out videos where they're like, I am Leonardo DiCaprio, and I just want to say how sad I am for some of my behaviors and some of my associations when I was young and being manipulated by a system here in Hollywood that seeks to exploit more than it seeks to nurture. We're going to get that kind of bullshit. We're going to get a whole bunch of these things. Maybe some of them will cry. Not J-Lo, though. I think J-Lo's defiant. I think J-Lo's ride or die. J-Lo is just going to be, bitch, I got like $500 million. Why do I think J-Lo talks like Rosie Perez? I know that's not the case. I have heard J-Lo speak. She doesn't speak like Rosie Perez, yet here I am imitating her with Rosie Perez. Let's talk about Ryan Ruth. How about this? How fucked up is this? This is great. This is just great. I love how sometimes this shit works out. So Ryan Ruth is the son of Wesley Ruth. Now, who's Wesley Ruth? Wesley Ruth is the idiot that tried to kill Trump at the golf course, and I feel comfortable saying he tried to kill him now because there's a note and all of that stuff. What do you mean? It could be fixed. I'm like, yeah, of course it could. Yeah, that note could be. This call could be a lie. Everything is a lie. But do you want to live that way? Oh, you already do. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I don't. I don't live that way. They said there was a note. In the note, he said, if you're reading this, I have failed in my attempt to murder President Trump. So that's what I'm going with. So that's who Wesley Ruth was. Wesley Ruth had a son, Ryan, and in the days following, Ryan was all over the media, and he's like, my dad did nothing wrong. The only thing about my dad is that he really hates President Trump. And if that makes him weird, or whatever, he was saying stuff like that, because apparently the kid hates President Trump too. That's Ryan Ruth. That's his name. Guess what? He's been arrested for child porn. Yep, that's right. The guy who was saying my dad's totally normal. And the son. Here's why. Check out this fucked up web. It's the dad's fault. Well, I mean, it's Ryan Ruth's fault for being into child porn, you fucking pervert. And, I'm just glad they caught him, right? Okay, so I'm not going to complain about how he got caught, but still. So dad gets arrested. The FBI and the Secret Service and all that, they go to the house where the kid lives, which I guess was in the name of the dad. And the kid's like, what are you doing? And they're like, we're seizing all the computers. And we're trying to find whatever they could on dad about why he did this. And guess what they found instead? They found the son's child porn. Fucking, oh my God. Not Ryan Wesley Ruth is the father. I'm sorry. I was saying that wrong. Ryan Wesley Ruth is the father who tried to kill Trump. The FBI went to his home to seize all of his computers. In the process, the FBI also seized the computers of his son, Orrin Ruth, and they found hundreds of files of child pornography. All right. The son of Ryan Ruth, the man arrested in connection with the second apparent assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump, has been taken into custody on federal charges of possessing child pornography. Investigators say that they discovered hundreds of. I got a question, and this is a dark question, and I really hope none of you can answer this because. So, when I do look at like naked pictures of girls, for whatever reason, for research, whenever I do that, I don't like download any of the pictures. There's just sites. You just look at the pictures. I mean, I understand that, like, there's, but I'm not like down, like, I gotta save this one. Why? Because porn is everywhere. So that's like normal porn. So, but do like dudes who, like, first of all, oh God, where do you even find it? Do you have to go to a special website? I don't know anything about this. But why are they here? Why are they saving the pictures? Can't they just go back to the website? Oh, maybe it's because something that's so highly illegal it could be shut down, and so you'd want to save those for later. I don't understand it. And you know what? I don't want to think about it. I'm thinking way too much. Investigators say that they discovered hundreds of files during a search of Orrin Ruth's residence in Guilford County, North Carolina, on Saturday. It was conducted in connection with the investigation. In connection with an investigation, they found the material while conducting a search in connection with an investigation that is totally unrelated to child exploitation. So they weren't even looking for it. And they were there because of his dad. They were there. So dad's fuck up got the kid. Yeah, shitty. That's all right. Good job. Good job. He's in prison. So that's the story of Orrin Ruth, the son of Ryan Wesley Ruth. Here's one. Okay, so I saw this. This was tweeting. I asked my kid about it last night. And he knew about it. He was like, yeah. He's like, that's a thing. I'm like, okay, well, be careful. Like, I don't know how else to. Hold on. This is a new thing that teenagers are doing, and we're being warned against it. Oh my God. Oh, parents. There's a new drug alert. New drug alert. New drug alert. Parents, your kids are all doing this new drug. It's a new drug alert. Now, if I sound like I'm being a bit tongue-in-cheeky with my concern, it is, because it's not a new drug. It's just a new name. It's something that I did. It's something that everybody did. It's called Galaxy Gas. Are you familiar with this? Kids are doing Galaxy Gas. Hey, parents, Galaxy Gas. Kids are doing Galaxy Gas. You know what it is? It's Whippets. Did you guys never do Whippets? Did you guys never work fast food or in an ice cream shop and then take the empty whipped cream canisters and suck all the air out of it? They're called Whippets. Man, we would go to parties and dudes would have industrial whipped cream dispensers and a big giant box of fucking canisters like they're bullets for an AK-47. And they'd just walk up and they would sell Whippet hits for $5. There, you got $5 here. Take a Whippet hit. So apparently they're not Whippets anymore. Apparently now they're called Galaxy Gas. And we as parents are supposed to get all worried about this horrible new. So let's watch this. Here's a video that's going around about modern teenagers experiencing Galaxy Gas. Here we go. Let me put this in there for you.
God damn, what the fuck?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Whip it in my body.
What's your name? Where you from?
Man. I'm from the whip, down the street, man. Come on, man. Let's see what the food's talking about, man. Why, hello.
Yo, twin, you good off the GG, twin? Twin, you good off the GG, twin?
All right, so you understand what that is. This is not new. Kids have been temporarily causing brain damage to themselves by, it's nitrous oxide. It's nitrous oxide, right? Nitrous, Whippets. That's what that is. Anyway, you'll see it. It's going around. They're trying to scare you. They're trying to tell you the kids are doing. They found some new. They're calling it Galaxy Gas. I don't know if that's a brand name of something or what, but it's Whippets. It is nitrous oxide hits. Jesus, the Deadheads were doing it back in the 60s. This is not new. This is nothing that we need to be overly concerned about for our teenagers It's always been available. It's always been something that they could have discovered, and it's something that we all did. Did you? Did anybody else in the chat room do it, or is it just a Midwestern thing? Yeah, Peter knows it. Nitrous oxide. Let's see here. Whippets. Yeah, okay, we called them whippets. I thought that's what they were, and I guess that's what they are, but now they're known as galaxy gas. So don't freak out, parents. It's always been around. As long as they sell Ready Whip in those canisters at the grocery store, you're not going to be able to stop your kid from getting high off the nitrous oxide in the bottom of the can. That's all it is. All right, what else do we have here? Let's see. California is working towards banning students from having cell phones. This is an interesting topic for me. Here's why. Hold on. California becomes the latest state to restrict students' smartphone use at school. I say this is an interesting topic to me because why the kid's on his phone in school? Like, I thought that was like a no-brainer. Like, so you're telling me the kids are sitting in class like a teacher can't go put your fucking phone away? Like, it's not a thing. But what if there's a school shooting? Yeah, there's not going to be a school shooting. I mean, I know there could be. I don't mean to tempt fate in that way, but there's a million schools in this country. They're not all going to, we don't have to really make policy based on phone. No, they shouldn't have phones. They're a distraction. So although I guess it's insane to ask a teacher or a school to enforce a teenager, their access to their phone. When we ourselves as parents, I can't enforce it. I don't know what to do. Honestly, the only thing you can do is just stop paying the bill. And be like, yep, there you go. Maybe now you'll talk to dad in the car instead of just, having headphones on and watching YouTube on your phone. But anyway, California lawmakers are trying to I thought they were banned already. I really did. I thought kids couldn't use their phones. California becomes latest state to restrict student smartphone use at school. Sacramento. School districts in California will have to create rules restricting student smartphone use under a new law. The legislation makes California the latest state to try to curb student phone access in an effort to minimize distractions in the classroom and address the mental health impacts of social media on children. Florida, Louisiana, Indiana, and several other states have passed laws aimed at restricting student phone use at school. I like that. Florida, Louisiana, Indiana are the ones that have already passed similar laws. And then you got California. How crazy is that? Because Florida, Louisiana, and Indiana are fucking inbred states. Those are like, bah! And then Florida is like, hey, liberal. So what this shows is that this is like an issue that we can all come together on, right? We can all agree. I think it doesn't matter if you're MAGA or if you're like freaking craziest far left where you consider Kamala Harris to be a right-wing fascist, right? So we can all agree that, yeah, it's probably best that our 16-year-olds put the fucking phone down for a while. That's wild. California is following in the legislative footsteps of Florida, Louisiana, and Indiana. That just strikes me as interesting. This new law will help students focus on academics, social development, and the world in front of them, not their screens. Some critics of phone restriction policies say that the burden should not fall on teachers to enforce them. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true, man. Kids are so disrespectful to teachers. I can't get my kid to put the phone down without eye rolls and hold on, wait, you just got 5 minutes. I can't tell you how many times things that we were supposed to do were delayed because there's just 5 minutes left in this video. Hold on, I'll put my shoes on in 5 minutes. Hold on, that whole shit. I'm like, God, this is an addiction. The new law will help students focus on academic, social development. Some critics of the phone restriction policy say that the burden shouldn't fall on teachers to enforce them. Others worry the rules will make it harder for students to seek help if there is an emergency, or they argue that decisions on phone bans should be left up to individual school districts or schools. I don't like what if there's a shooter? What if there's an emergency? I get it. So let's not take the phones away from the kids, right? How about we just buy some equipment that just jams the phones when they're in the class? Well, no, because then if there's an emergency, you'd have to walk over and you have to flip the switch on the phone jammer box. They couldn't call for help because the teacher forgot to flip the phone jam. I don't even know if that's a real piece of technology that students walk into a room and suddenly their phones don't work. But let's get on it, Elon. Instead of making stupid looking cars that cost $500,000. By the way, did you see that the Cybertruck is like the most hated car in the world right now? I don't know how I can back that up. I just read that. It was a headline. Cybertruck, most hated car in the world. Now, that's probably true, and I'm going to say it on my stream today, and then people are going to be like, that's true. All right, there you go. Anyway, kids shouldn't have phones in their schools. They shouldn't be on their phone. I shouldn't, and it bothers me. There have been a couple of occasions. Like recently, last week. Here's a great example. Last week, I sent a text to my kid at like 2:30 in the afternoon telling him that I was going to be late for the game. I was running behind. So I sent him a text at 2:30. I knew he was in class, and even after I had to send, I went, oh, fuck, I hope I didn't get him in trouble, right? Because I immediately went, ooh, I shouldn't have sent that. He's in class. Wasn't thinking he's in trouble. Like 5 seconds later, brink, he responds, that's cool, Dad, not a problem. And then I'm like, why are you on your phone? What are you doing on your phone? You're in the middle of class. I don't know. He gets good grades. He's holding up his end, right? That's how I look at it. Kids hold up. The minute he gets arrested, he's no longer holding up his end. But he's holding up his end with, being a good kid. So, on the phone. But God, it's so irritating, these kids and their phones. Let's talk about this. Suicide pod. Suicide pod. A suicide pod was used for the very first time yesterday. It was used in somewhere where, honestly, it seems nice to die. It seems like they chose a location. It's like the woods, I think, in the middle of Switzerland. Yeah, the woods in the middle of Switzerland. I'm going to show you a picture of this thing. It's the Sarco suicide pod. I think we mentioned this once before because I was familiar with it. The Sarco suicide pod is a pod created by... Didn't we used to call that your car in the garage? I mean, that's just, we all have a suicide pod as long as we have a garage and a door that we can close and our car that will run. That's a suicide. But this is like a suicide pod for rich people. It's a very space-aged looking. And they placed this one in the middle of the woods in Switzerland. And they had their very first, what would you call that? What would you call the very first person that killed themselves in the suicide pod? Anyway, suicider. They had their first suicider in the pool. Sarco suicide pod is used for the first time as a United States woman. She was an American from the Midwest. A United States woman who's 64 years old uses the capsule to die in the Swiss woodlands, prompting police to swoop in and detain the entire staff. So they set this up, and it sounds to me like the police were waiting. This seems like an act of defiance on the part of the creators of the suicide pod and all of that. And the police were like, you can't do that. And they're like, well, we think that morally you should be able to. And I don't think a government should be able to stop somebody from ending their life. Isn't that the ultimate liberty? That's the argument. And I happen to agree with it. And the government's like, you do it, we're going to arrest you. And so they set this whole thing up. It's the first one. This is a very big moment. There's a very big moment in the way we as humans think about end of life and our own choices and all of that kind of stuff. Very big moment. I mean, I would like to get to a place where in a few years, somebody wants to end their own life. I think they should be able to. I think they should be. Hold on. This woman, 64 years old, she was suffering from a disease that wasn't going to kill her, but she lived in extreme pain every day of her life. We keep that person alive because we're able to? What about quality of life? What about just human dignity? That is, I don't know, our life, control of our own life, what we do next, how many breaths we have left. If it's possible for us to make the call on that, I think that's... Jeff Bellard's always screaming about liberty. That's the ultimate liberty. That's the ultimate liberty, to be able to take your life. I'm of sound mind and body. How could you be of sound mind? Well, because I live in pain, and I do nothing but cause hardships for the people who love me, and they don't want to see me like this. Oh, you're dead. Look, let me tell you something. I've been around somebody who was dying, somebody who died over a long period of time. There is no question among anybody that I loved this person and that this person loved me. But it was time for them to go. It was time for them to go. Quality of life of everybody in the family had suffered for years. This person was in pain. And that person just had to wait it out. If there was an option where that person 5 years before this ugly, and if there was an option where that person could have chosen to go out in the Swiss countryside in some really cool looking contraption, looks like a UFO. You climb in, I'll show it to you. There's a picture. But let me give you the story here. The Sarco suicide pod has been used for the very first time. Its creators have confirmed with an American woman, age 64, believed to be the first person to have died in the device under a canopy of trees in the Swiss woodlands. Police in northern Switzerland said that several people were detained on Monday and that prosecutors had opened an investigation on suspicion of incitement and accessory to suicide. That's a charge. Wow. The Sarco suicide capsule is designed to allow a person inside to push a button that injects nitrogen gas into a sealed chamber. The person is then supposed to just fall asleep and die by suffocation in a few minutes. So is this the same thing? What is it? Nitrogen gas. So that's not the same thing as like asphyxiation by carbon monoxide. Or I guess it doesn't matter what the source of the asphyxiation is, right? Is that ultimately how? Okay. The Sarco suicide capsule is designed to allow a person inside to push a button that injects nitrogen gas into it. Here, I'll show you the picture. I'll just show you the picture of it. This thing is cool, man. It looks like a jet ski. I hate to be so. Here. And this is where it was. This is the location. This is where the woman chose to die. And this is the Sarco suicide pod. Right there in the middle of the woods. Do we have a picture of it on the inside? Let's see. They let us watch a video here. Should we watch a video? And that's the inside of the Sarco suicide. Looks comfortable, although it looks sticky. Like if I'm sweating, it looks like the kind of material that'll be sticky.
It's been designed with a view to being used in nature, whether that is at a beach or in the Alps, somewhere of outstanding beauty, and that's why there's such a big window, so people will be able to see the outside world, but also the designer in the Netherlands wanted to give it a sense of travel to a new destination.
All right, there you go. That's all we need to see with that. Sense of travel to a new destination. That's why it looks like a jet ski. That's why it looks like a cool-ass Jetsons car. I don't know. It's a serious story. It's a serious issue. We'll see. What am I listening to now? Oh, geez, really? We still got that? All right, let's continue on. Sorry. I just kind of brought the mood down a little bit. Well, I'm also going to bring, if you're a big fan of 1970s and 80s shopping, Kmart is officially gone. You guys remember Kmart? Kmart, Kmart. Do you know that Kmart and Sears are both gone? And did you know that Kmart and Sears have been like the same thing for the last 15 years? Apparently, they were both going in bankruptcy, and some dude who liked to collect brands came in and went, I'll buy the Sears and I'll buy the Kmart. And then anyway, Kmart's blue light fades to black with the shuttering of its last full-scale U.S. store. Where do you think the last Kmart is? How the hell has a Kmart survived in 2024? I mean, didn't Target and Walmart just wipe all that shit out? You know, when I was a kid growing up, we had Kmarts. And we'd go to Kmarts. But we also had things called Venture. I don't know if there were Ventures down here. Venture was kind of like a nicer Kmart. It wasn't like Kmart. It was kind of shitty. Like Kmart, the floors were kind of shitty. Venture was a little bit nicer. You know what it's almost like? It's almost like the difference in modern times between a Walmart and a Target. You know, they're both like not expensive stores where you can get just about everything you need, but one's just slightly nicer. So that was Venture. Then we also had a thing called Zayre. Did you guys have Zayre here in Texas? All of these stores, all of these companies were completely wiped out by Walmart. And now Kmart, the last one is going down. The erstwhile retail giant, renowned for its blue light specials featuring a flashing blue orb affixed to a pole. The store, this one, Bridgehampton, New York. There you go. Oh, in the Hamptons. First of all, why is there a Kmart in the Hamptons? And also, interestingly enough, why is it the last one to fold? Rich people get a kick out of going on vacation and shopping at a poor people's store? I don't understand that. It's shuttering its last full-scale store in the mainland United States. The store, located in swanky Bridgehampton, New York on Long Island, is slated to close on October the 20th. That will leave only a small mini Kmart in Miami. There are also a handful of stores in Guam. So I guess there are a couple of, if you really need your Kmart fix, you go to Guam. What's that about? No Walmart. I bet you there's no Walmarts in Guam. I bet you that's why Kmart is allowed to still exist. We will let you have Guam. And Kmart's like, thank you, sir. Can we have the U.S. Virgin Islands? You're asking for too much. You can have Guam. Let's see here. Transform Co. That sounds like that's a made-up name. That's a rich guy who formed a company because he bought Kmart and Sears. Transform Co. Transform Co., the company that in 2019 bought the assets of both Sears and Kmart, did not immediately respond to an email requesting because there is no such thing as Transform Co. It's just a rich guy. It's just a rich guy who's sitting around. He's like, I'm going to buy Sears. I want to go to the bar tonight and tell girls that I bought Sears. In its heyday, there were more than 2,000 Kmarts in the United States. By the way, you know what the K stands for? Do you guys know what the K in Kmart stands for? Kresge. Before Kmart's, there were Kresge stores. Kresge. It's a fun name to say. What else do we have? Let's see. Here's one. Okay, here's something. Nah, we don't need that. Do we need that? I'm running out of topics. Let me see here. What do we got? Oh, so this is kind of fun. So Arnel Pineda, does that name mean anything to you? Arnel Pineda? Arnel Pineda is the lead singer for Journey. He's not Steve Perry. He's the Filipino dude that they found that sounds just like Steve Perry, and it's funny because it sounds just like Steve Perry, except it's a Filipino dude, and you're like, that doesn't. And then you start to think, but wait, Steve Perry, he kind of could have looked, right? He could have been a Anyway, point is this. Dude's been the lead singer of Journey for like 20 years, right? Arnel Pineda, he's been there forever. So they're down in Rock in Rio. They're playing this big concert down there. And Journey's like, any way you want it, that's the way you need it, anyway. And his voice cracks. And then he's like, don't stop. Believe. He's cracking on that too, and he got terrible reviews. People are like, you suck, Arnel. What was his name? Pineda? I don't know. You suck, Arnel. You suck. Like, he hasn't been the lead singer for 20 years. I think this dude has been the lead singer of Journey longer than Steve Perry ever was. Steve Perry was probably only in Journey like 9 years. This guy's been touring with him for 20. Anyway, he went online and he addressed the Journey fans and he said, look, here, I'll tell you the story because it's kind of sad, but also kind of like he's just needy and here's the story. It is Pineda, right? Yeah, it's Arnel Pineda. For some reason, I'm like, wait a second, is that the name of like a shortstop the White Sox have in the farm system? Why am I thinking? And we do have a Pineda. That's why I was confused. But all right, here we go. Arnel Pineda is letting the fans of Journey decide his fate. The Journey singer took to Facebook Sunday, September 22nd, to respond to criticism surrounding his performance at Rock in Rio, sharing a video in which the vocalist appeared to be struggling with the ear monitors, which led to his inability to hit a few of the high notes in Don't Stop Believin'. What do you think they were? Right there. Don't stop believing. This is hold on to that feeling. I bet he couldn't get there. Hold on to that feeling. That's a hard note to hit. Don't stop. Ugh. Anyway, the Journey singer took to Facebook on Sunday to respond to criticism surrounding his performance. He struggled on the hit Don't Stop Believin'. He says, no one more than me in this world feels so devastated about this. He wrote, it's really amazing how 1,000 right things you have done will be forgotten just because of this. And of all the places for me to experience this, it's Rock in Rio. Mentally and emotionally, I've suffered already, and I'm still suffering, but I'll be okay. It seems a little needy. Dude, you hit a couple of bum notes. Now you're going on like the band's Facebook page and like... Ugh. Pineda then offered to leave the band if fans want him out, requesting them to comment stay or go on the post as a vote. If go, this is absurd. Listen, here are his rules. If go reaches 1 million, if 1 million people reading this post say go, then he says he's leaving. I'm stepping out for good. Okay. So first of all, 1 million people? Really? You going to count them? Are you going to count? Because if you, let's say you got 2 million, it's just so stupid. I think the poor guy, I think he's just feeling a little needy. And of course, guess what happened on the Journey fan website when Arnel Pineda, the singer, says, if you want me to go, I'll go. Guess what happens? Like, everybody's like, no, stay. We love you. And then it's like, he's not going. There's no chance in hell that 1 million people are going to tell him to go, so he's not going anywhere. The vast majority of the comments voiced support for Pineda, who joined Journey in 2007. See, almost 20 years. The band's guitarist, Neil Sean, also uplifted Pineda in a Facebook comment about the criticism. Sean saying to Pineda, Arnel, don't listen to these blogs. They are all bought. You've kicked ass, wrote Sean. That's nice. It's nice of Neil Sean to have his back. It's also a little desperate and weird for him to be like, if 1 million people respond to this, 1 million? Really? That's a lot, dude. All right, guys, I think that's it. I think we're out of show. I think I've basically... Let me see what else we got here. Let me see if there's anything that's happening in the world. I'm sorry today was a shorter show. Was it really, though? If we started at 1:30, 2:30, it's 3:30. It wasn't that short. We're only about 10 minutes short of giving you the full 2 hours. We got a hurricane, right? I guess I should have mentioned that. I was talking about this being the anniversary of Hurricane Rita. And I said, hurricane season. It hasn't really been a bad one. Well, now apparently we've got one coming up the Gulf of Mexico. Helene, is that it? Hurricane. Is it Helene or Helena? Helene. I would pronounce that Helene. But watch them say, no, that's Helena. We're gonna call it Helena. It's Helena. It's Helena, right? People in the Florida Panhandle, Big Bend region, and much of the central and eastern Gulf Coast need to complete preparations for major hurricane impacts by Wednesday night before hazardous conditions arrive Thursday. All right. Major hurricane is approaching the Gulf of Mexico. AccuWeather. Let's look at it. Let's look at it on the Google Maps. Hold on. I always like to see the hurricane on the Google Maps. Okay. Google the Maps. All right, here we go. Let's look at this. Let's see. See if we can see this hurricane. All right. All right. I don't see anything. All right. We'll go out a little bit more. All right. Where's the hurricane that we're looking for? All right. Let me see where it says it's going to be. Major hurricane is Oh, so it's out there by Cuba right now? Is that where it is? So we got to go look at Cuba? Where's Cuba? Here's Cuba. Oh, is this it? Is this a hurricane right here? Is this what we're talking? Well, I pushed in too far. The clouds aren't showing. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. There's your bonus coverage. Apparently there's a hurricane coming for Florida. Again, as I say with all of this stuff, if it's important to you to have the most important information about the hurricane that's bearing down on Florida, go somewhere else. This is not for that. This is for us. This is just for us to hang out. How'd you enjoy the American flag show? I like that. I might leave that up all the time. That's not bad, right? That's is it less distracting? What do you think of the flag? Should I leave the flag? I wonder if there are different flags. Like, I wonder if I could fly a different flag. Not that I would want to pledge my allegiance, my national faith and love to any other nation or flag, but I'm just saying, like, wouldn't that be fun if there was like a Texas flag? Could we do a Texas flag? Ooh, is there a Texas flag? I'm not going to worry about it. I'll screw around with that later. Geography is hard, Frank. Geography is hard. Geography. You guys watch football last night? I don't like the two games on Sunday. And was it because like both games were like really like Jacksonville and Buffalo? That's not a good game. Buffalo that's not like, it's not, you know what? Not a compelling game. If you're a Buffalo fan, it was a great game. It was fun. You had a great time. It's not a compelling game. And what was the other? Cincinnati and somebody. So, I don't know, whatever. Shows how you much. I watched both games. Oh, the Commanders. That's what it was. Why? You know what? Credit where credit is due, man. Commanders, boy. Holy cow. First of all, Cincinnati. Their window is shut. I used to think a couple of weeks back, before the season started, I thought the Buffalo Bills window was shut too. I don't think that anymore, but I do absolutely believe that the Cincinnati Bengals window has shut. That was, boy, I'll tell you. How about Jaden Daniels? Jaden Daniels out there running Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury showing up, hanging out on the sideline, coming over from USC. Get Jaden Daniels. Why didn't the Bears have Cliff Kingsbury working with Caleb Williams, considering that he's the reason some would say the reason Caleb Williams won the Heisman? Cliff Kingsbury was, of course, working with the USC staff for the last couple of years, and he was Caleb Williams' guy. And then Caleb Williams gets drafted number 1 by the Bears, and then Jaden Daniels get drafted number 2 by the Commanders, and the Commanders go, hey, let's go get Caleb Williams coach for Jaden. Hey, why didn't we get Cliff King? And I'm not complaining. I mean, I have no issues whatsoever with Caleb Williams. But man, did Jaden Daniels show out last night. That was great. Good for him. I love it because we all sit in the weeds for the bust. I want to be the first to call somebody a bust. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch. He took 2 snaps. It was a 3 and out. His first possession in the NFL. He's a bust. 3 and out. Because see, this is me. I'm smart. And I know ultimately I'm totally insignificant. So like in a couple of years when it proves that he's absolutely not a bust, no one will remember I said it because again, I'm absolutely insignificant. But for now, he's a bust. So many of you fucking experts. You're like so-called football. No, Jaden Daniels look great. You look great. Commanders look like they could be a load, Cowboy fans. I'm sorry. I don't mean to say, hey, look, I'm dealing with my own thing. I'm dealing with my own thing in the NFC North with suddenly, a reinvented Sam Darnold. I don't know what to make of that shit. But yeah, Cowboy fans, you also got to be looking at the Commanders going, so that's probably not going to be 2 easy wins. That's got to take them out of the win total. They look good. They looked good last night. Kingsbury looked good. Kingsbury didn't play. I mean, that's not. But what I mean is, he's the guy. He's the guy getting Jaden Daniels ready. And all I can say is that Jaden Daniels looks ready, and good for him. I love it when these kids, they come out. No, you bust. No, don't be negative. Be happy. Be happy for this kid. He seems like a good one. All right, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. Noon, probably, regular time. We'll see. Fingers crossed. I think that the car issue is completely resolved, so that's a good thing. She's not mentioning the Brett Favre thing, April. Here's why I'm not mentioning the Brett Favre thing. I saw that Brett Favre apparently has... Brett Favre was getting like... See, this is why I didn't want to do the Brett Favre thing. He announced that he has Parkinson's, right? But he announced he has Parkinson's while he was being raked over the coals about his welfare scandal where he stole money from kids. And he decided that, this would be a good time for me to go, I have Parkinson's. I just want to change the subject if we could do that. So I'm not as up to speed on that. But yeah, I was going to do that tomorrow, but I need to read that. I need to, really form. But it looks to me, just looking at that story, I'm like, people were going to yell at you for taking money from poor people, and you decided to flip the script and make the lead. Brett Favre has Parkinson's. Sports Bra says the Commanders will win the East. Mark it. I don't know. I know they looked good against the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday night in prime time. And that's not where you expect rookie quarterbacks, highly touted rookie quarterbacks. You don't expect them to excel, in their third game in a national audience on Monday Night Football. But I'll tell you, Jaden Daniels did. So good for him. All right, that's going to do it, folks. I love you. We're done with the show. We'll be back tomorrow. Tip the show if you can. That would be great. If not, I still love you, and we'll be back here tomorrow. This has been the MIdDAy Rant with me, Pugs Moran, on RadioMisfits.com. We are Radio Misfits Dallas. Bye, everybody.